I think December is when the next rate rise will happen, so it will plateau off, but it'll give confidence to buyers, obviously moving forward, and obviously to sellers. So I think that's a really good positive thing when we get some stability in the marketplace. But yeah, really good. And your beautiful boys are good.
Yeah, all good, healthy, giving us a hard time, which is what they should be doing. So
Fantastic. Well, while waiting for this audience to build up, just round the room, how is everyone finding the marketplace?
Don't be shy, unmute, yell out, put in the chat box.
Arthur, what are you finding in the rental space?
Well, our days on market have pushed out, mate. Specifically over the last 3 weeks, I've noticed we used to lease properties within 7 days, and it's actually pushed out now to about 3 weeks, which is really unusual.
That is unusual.
Yeah, we're grabbing at what we can, and our numbers are swelling, but just the leasing time for us in my Frankston area, LGA area, yeah, it's blown out.
Okay, that's interesting. It's interesting how probably the last 2 to 3 years the market turns from not from month to month, not from quarter to quarter. It used to be. Now it's from week to week.
Week to week, yeah.
Week. There's a change. So, no, fantastic. All right, what time is it? It's 11:30.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We've got a few people in, and I'm sure with the SMSs that go out, we'll get a few more coming in. So let's get the show on the road. First of all, guys, once again, thank you so much for obviously joining us today. And I hope everyone's been having a great month. And we can certainly see what's happening in the field since July. We've definitely seen numbers increase July, August. September's off to a great start, just only a few days in, and we can see the type of activity our team members are experiencing. So we know we're in for a very solid October, November, and right lead up to Christmas. I truly believe that. And of course, today's topic is setting up for a fantastic finish in 2025. So welcome again to the Black Salt virtual sessions, agents in the field, training agents in the field. So as we've always said, interaction is where we all learn. So please, if you have a question, please raise your hand. This session will probably last 45 minutes to 1 hour. Excuse me. It's reviewing some basics, but hopefully highlight a few of the important things that most people need to be doing. Obviously, now that the market is really on our favor. So let's get straight into it, of course. Okay, a big shout out again to our industry partners. Without them, nothing happens. Black Salt cannot obviously be brought to you. So a big shout out. And please, guys, as I've always said, industry partners are our business partners. They help us in our business, but you've got to get intimate with them. Ring these guys up from Realty Assist through to obviously our own Beyond Figures, to the Wingman Group, to everyone that you see there from Moving Hub. I mean, if you haven't spoken to Chris Bondi at Moving Hub, you really need to. He does amazing work, obviously, with vendors and buyers, and of course, predominantly in the rental space too. So, okay,
Manos, just very quickly, just a little plug for Fiona Blaney, please.
Oh, yes, Fiona Blaney. So PM1 happening on the 14th and the 15th of September. So this Sunday week. For those people that can make it in property management, highly recommend that you book your tickets. This is going to be a sold out event. It's 2 days of intense property management training. And we know this space is absolutely changing, right? Right now, property management space is changing. So those that are in property management, I would be definitely getting my backside there, because I think it's going to be an extremely informative. The lineup is sensational. And Fiona, who's a very good friend of ours, will be sharing some of the top strategies that the fastest growing agencies are using, not only to grow bigger, but also to pull out profit from their businesses. So please, if you, I will book it in. Okay, let's move on. Setting up for a strong finish. Obviously, we know what those numbers are. 118 days left in 2025, 17 weeks, 32.7% of the year is left. So what does that actually mean? It means that 1 in 3 days are left. So we've exhausted 2 days of 2025. We've still got a whole third to go. And it's all about smashing your personal best in 2025. Now, a show of hand, or put in your chat, are you on track to smash out your personal best in 2025? Just a quick one. Really put it in there. Just say, based on how you're tracking, are you smashing your personal best? I'd love to sort of see people's comments.
Okay, I've got Martu saying yes.
Yep.
Very short answer, but yes, thank you. We'll take that as a
No, that's
positive.
good. Just say yes
Yep.
to go around the room, because it's a really important question to be asking yourselves.
Well, Paul saying not quite. It was a slow start to the year,
Mhm.
but I think, Paul, you mentioned you're pushing through now. Jasmine Corrick's given a thumbs up. Yes, well done. Steve
Fantastic.
McDade, yes, very much. Well done, Steve.
Well done, Steve. And Steve, I would include obviously what you did in January, obviously before you launched your business, what you did right from the 1st of January right to obviously what you will do at the end of the calendar year as your numbers.
Hello, Jill. Yes, we are doing more appraisals than I've ever done, all for next year and onwards. Well done, Jill.
Love it. Love it. And Jill, you'll find, well, I won't get ahead of the slides, but just understanding, number one, if you don't know what your personal best is, let's just start there, right? I don't want to discount the value of knowing your numbers, right? And a lot of agents don't. And they go, oh, I think I sold 20 homes last year, or I think my best year was 25 homes. It is a very important stat, right? And my blog for tomorrow will be on knowing your numbers, right? And the importance of knowing your numbers. And I'm not asking everyone to be numbers geeks or anything like that, but to actually understand the value and the simplicity of tracking your numbers and what that actually tells you and what you can do with your business moving forward. And what gets measured gets done. What gets measured gets implemented. What gets measured gets changed. What gets measured becomes so much more efficient. So please have that understanding. And in the build up to our obviously our black salt session on the 2nd and the 3rd of December, this is laying their foundations for once and for all. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your KPIs, to really set them in stone and to understand them. So smashing your personal best starts with knowing your numbers. But this is what the statistics say. What the stats say, approximately 45% of your yearly sales will happen in the next 90 to 110 days. Think about it. We've got 1 in 3 days left for the year, but approximately 45% of sales across the country happen in the next 90 to 110 days. So that should be a light bulb moment for everyone to think, okay, if that's the case, am I prepared for it, right? From a volumes perspective.
Awesome.
Here's the other thing, right?
For the
How much GCI have you written? So let's do this exercise, and I'd love if people can quickly do this exercise and actually to put it into the chat box. How much GCI have you written to date for 2025? All right, so I want you to think about it. We're going to do a calculation. Whatever that amount is, that will represent 55% of your calendar year. 82% of that times that by 82% equals, and it will work out the balance of your 2025. So let me share some numbers with you, right? As an example, if you did 250K GCI, that equals 55%. 82% of that 250K GCI represents 112,000 K, which is 45% estimate of the balance of your 2025 year. Okay, so the total for 225 is going to be 362,000. That's what you're on track for. Does anyone want to do that exercise? So work out what you did. Here's another one. If you've written 500,000 GCI 2 days, right? Times that by 82%, add that back to your 500, and that's your total, your estimated total for the balance of the year, 910,000 in this example. Okay. So I want everyone to really think about the importance of the next 30, 60, 90 days, right? Because it impacts your business almost 50%, right? Jasmine, I love it, not enough. That's gold. For understanding your numbers. So really, has anyone done the exercise just quickly? If you've written 500,000 times up 82%, Paul, what does it say? Unmute.
Yep. So it's funny, my goal was to write $1 million. So far we've written 578, and I've just done your calculations, and according to that, I'll write 1,050,000.
1,050,000. Well done, Paul. Now 1,050,000, and this is recorded, so it'll be really good coming close to Black Salt, and for you to share those numbers, and especially we'll be sharing that in implementation day, day 2. Okay. Anyone else did the exercise? And you can do it as a business too, Paul. So if your business so far has done $1 million, 82% of $1 million is 820,000. Technically speaking, you should be on target to do 1.82 million for the calendar year. So it's an important figure. And of course, these statistics are just basically from what happens in the selling arena. We know how many sales approximately happen per month. We know the peak periods, and it's just the law of averages that gets us to these estimations, right? So long as you're doing the activity. David's what, 1.24 million to date, times that by 82%. That's going to be what, 900. So you're on target to do about 2.1, 2.2. Did you add the 82%, David? Fantastic. So that should be exciting, right? And that there's a couple of things that happen there too, especially for business owners. You can plan out your year 2 from your capacity to actually do the volume too. Because if you're expecting to do 45% of your revenue over the next 90 days, you need some manpower there, right? You need some manpower. And this is the other stuff that the numbers reveal. 2.256 million. Can you remember these numbers, guys? Paul, obviously David, whoever else has calculated it, it'll be really good to see the accuracy of it by the end of the year. Okay, moving forward. So we know what ON-FM stands for. Who's going to be a big shout out? What does ON-FM stand for? Don't be shy.
October, November, February, March.
October, November, February, March. All right. So guys, it's our peak selling period. And of course, we're going to go through October, November, then we'll have a little bit of lull over December, January, and then we're straight into it for February, March. We know traditionally, very rarely does it fail that they're our 4 biggest months of the year, and it's always a battle between October and March to see which one is always the highest selling month. And if you really think about it, February is always a short week. It's a short month. It's always 4 weeks. So you can understand the volume that we actually do in February. Okay, so what you do or don't do in the next 30 days will impact your next 12 months. People don't make decisions to come onto the market to purchase property, within 24 hours. It's a gradual, but they also get influenced. And this is where a lot of agents probably miss the mark in regards to their follow-up. They are influenced, and we're going to give you some strategies of how to influence someone to push their sale forward or to encourage them based on real statistics of what's happening in the market to their benefit to come to market. Okay, and it's always in the dialogue. So the needle movers are really these 3. And what I've found the successful agents are doing, it's simplicity. They keep everything really simple. It's a consistency of message, and then there's repetition. one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. Simplicity, consistency of message, and repetition. So as a show of hands, or put in the chat box, what's really consistent in one of your processes? What's one thing that you know is a non-negotiable for yourself, amongst your team, in part of your process? Could be anything. Could be anything, but what is simple, consistent, and repetitive? Could anyone just share anything? How do you do settlement? How do you prospect? Is there a non-negotiable?
Got a couple of chats coming through. David Dwyer saying he's just
Magic
listed
25.
and just sold drops.
Just sold drops. Yep, great.
Yep.
Daniel, you just mentioned Magic 25s.
Magic 25s, and also thank you text/email after appraisals.
Great, fantastic. Now, let's just talk about the Magic 25s. What Magic 25s are you doing?
We're doing auction invites, just sold, just listed.
Auction invites, just sold, just listed.
And then we're doing the just appraised for competitor stock.
Just appraised for competitor stock.
Yep.
So let's go a little bit granular. So competitors listing comes up. I'm assuming you talk about it in a sales meeting, and you say competitors listing. Who's going to do the magic? Just appraised in your area.
Basically, yeah, and it usually happens whether it's a just listed or just sold. Just solds happen on Monday.
Yep.
So we usually go through the REA results on a Saturday night. Dad usually puts his hand up to get some cardio, and he'll go do all the drops on a Monday, depending on who we're targeting. But yeah, Mondays are usually just solds, and then during the week just listed, and we share it amongst the team.
Yeah, love it, love it.
It's in a group chat.
Yeah, so there's a process in place. So it's simple, it's documented, there's a consistency of message, and then there's repetition, okay? And Jono, I see that you handwritten thank you card in the owner's letterbox after every appraisal. So you walk out, you've got it written, and then you throw it into the letterbox. Yep. So that's any others, Arthur?
Yeah, just some monthly email to a database. That's from Jill.
Great. Perfect.
Christine's onto the thank you cards after every appraisal. So that's a common theme now coming through. Great.
I think the other one, man, I was just quickly, just to make sure usage of Vault, we find it really important to make sure that every appraisal there's an action list created, because I can't remember everything. So we make sure one of our processes that the action list is created and a follow-up system's created from there on in, because we're human, like we forget as well.
Yeah.
So action lists are 100% have to be done. If you've done an appraisal, an action list has to be created.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm assuming it's a client engagement strategy that we often talk about, the anniversary of their property, and obviously end of financial year, end of calendar year, market reports. Do you send them a Christmas card? Do you send them a Christmas card or a magnet? Yeah,
we've got another list for Christmas cards. We've got an Excel spreadsheet that runs with all the Christmas cards set up. But the action list is more for following up. If you've appraised it, but they haven't actually come to market yet, just touch points over the next couple of weeks and months to sort of just keep in their ear until they list, and then it turns into a different client list, another engagement process.
Yeah. And team, what I'm trying to highlight is if you haven't documented and set your process in stone, right? It's really hard to miss, right? It's you often won't follow it. Do you know what I mean? If you don't set it in stone. So once you do set it in stone and you relay it to your team, especially if you're working with a team, you've got a better opportunity of making it consistent. So we all know the value of a team, but if we're not giving them the tools and the proper direction, it's not going to work. All right. So I was really hoping to hear this one from everyone. So shouldn't be any silence. It should be everyone. Oh, I'll do that. I've got to mention it. Tell me, team. I'm going to go like you know, I'm building the Stellar program, the Stellar One program, and one of my instructions, it's not going to happen until late next year, is actually to take over the anniversary calls. Well, maybe not the calls, but definitely the cards that go out. I am so frustrated sharing this strategy with everyone, and so few agents actually use this strategy. And the reason you should know this, the reason you should know that very few agents use this strategy is you guys in the field are always in the lounge rooms with vendors, yes? Yep, that's a yes, loaded question. My next question is, how many of those people actually say to you, oh, that agent sends me an anniversary card, and that agent sends me an anniversary card, and that agent sends me an anniversary card? Not many do. Do they? Would you agree? So that should be a little bit of a light bulb moment for everyone to say, oh, Manos has been preaching this, and I'm sure Tom Panos preaches this, and I'm sure every other trainer preaches this, and not many agents still do it. So again, having a PB and smashing out your PBs and having great years is usually bridging the gap between knowing and actually doing. Okay, so you need a process in place to make sure that from every call thereafter, they get it's a follow-up with a home anniversary, a happy home anniversary card. George, you've been really big on this. We haven't spoken about maybe some recent results, but you've been doing it for years. Talk to me, any recent activity using this strategy.
Manos, no recent, but most of my listings this year have been referral based or past clients. So I think that speaks for itself. They didn't say, they don't ring up and say, I just got your anniversary card, I want to sell the house. But they ring up because they know you're still there, you're still active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And George, I think that's another important aspect. Very few people will actually say, oh, I've got your card and that's why I've called you. But
Yeah.
you're just reinforcing that you're active, you're reinforcing that you're engaged, you're reinforcing that, hey, I'm a real estate agent. And because a lot of agents don't hear that from vendors and they say, oh, I'll get your anniversary card every year or whatever, they probably discount the impact it actually has, which leads me to the next one. Who is doing this? It's the call plus the card. The call plus the card, the follow-up card. Or rather, agents, quality over quantity, we need to reduce it. So how do you smash out the balance of 2025 in the next 30, 60 to 90 days? Please amplify this to the nth degree, right? We've really got to up it. It's not just going to be about doing a little bit more social media. It's not going to be about doing more phone calls. It's actually going to be leveraging one activity after the other. And I do believe the handwritten card is what's going to get you over the line, which is a classic example right now, right? For those in the Agents Agency network, as everyone knows, we're really big on the what's my property worth, directing traffic back to your website and asking for an appraisal. And most websites, if you're not part of AA right now, most websites will have that what's my property worth feature, that you can at least capture their address. May not be able to provide reports, but at least capture the address. And one of our team did exactly that. They had, as it says, it's a what's my property worth and handwritten card. That was the lead source, right? So that was the chain of events that created this listing, right? And it said, thank you, Manos. And yes, that's correct. Lead via website, and followed up with a handwritten card addressed to the homeowner. And it was something different that they've written. I've never seen this one before, right? Your property is on someone's radar. Your address has been entered into our website for an online appraisal. This could have been a buyer interested in purchasing your home and curious to know what it might be worth. If it was you, please contact me to find out how we can assist with your property goals. I thought that was a little bit different, but gold, right? And it's not just the message, right? It's not just the message, it's that's the action, okay? So, hi, notice someone put your property's address, love to connect. make it easy for people to contact you back. Okay. So our statistics are very, very clear. We get about 5,000 address searches, appraisals, and reports. Very small number of appraisals. Really small number of actually name, phone number, and address. And please come and appraise my property through the website, considering the volume of people that actually put in their address. Okay. And yes, there'll be a small portion that's actually buyers and so forth. We get that, right? But if someone has someone physically, an actual person has had to go to the website to actually put in those details, they're in real estate mode. We just got to make it easy for them to contact you. And guess what? This is what we've found out from obviously the research. If they're putting their address in your website, guess where else they're putting their address in? In other agents' websites, right? So you want to make sure that you're first, okay? Because speed, and during our sync up sessions, we talk about one of the insights that we've uncovered is speed is a absolute metric in winning business. Speed is a metric. It's a KPI now. The first person to get to a seller after an inquiry, 80 to 90% of the time, is winning the business. So it's a metric that we need to be using, okay? So again, it's letterbox drop, right? Or direction, and that's what my property worth could have come from social media as well. So if someone's gone through your social sites and then click through and then gone to the website, again, follow it up with a handwritten card. And the handwritten card will never, ever, ever be replaced by AI. Never. So we need to up it. Over the next 30, 60, 90 days, I would be getting hundreds of them out, be making really quality calls and communication, and then following up. So the next one is, if you haven't kept this up to date, do this in the next 24, 48, do it by the weekend. If you have not kept your appraisals up to date using the Hustle Playbook, please do so, okay? And make the effort to start looking at your numbers in preparation for Black Salt, but more importantly, in preparation to how you're going to 2x, 3x your business for next year. This is the only way to do it, right? It's so simple. Very few people, again, still use it, but I can guarantee you that this is going to be a game changer for you. Who's kept it up to date? Who's actually kept it up to date? Okay, fantastic. Lincoln, fantastic. Can you share with the team any insights by completing the Hustle Playbook?
Sorry, I
Lincoln,
better
go for it,
unmute
Lincoln.
so I can. Yep. I think it was probably more of an eye opener. I've never been one that have tracked my numbers, which I know you probably hate, Manos.
No. Lincoln, can I tell you? And if you're in my sessions, the opportunity, it was a session I did for someone else, right? We're talking about opportunity ratio. This is my clear, it's so important to understand this. If you're doing all the work, if you're doing the Hustle Playbook, if you're dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's and you're doing every activity and you're not achieving your goals, right? I'd be concerned. But because you're not doing the Hustle Playbook, or you're not doing the opportunity ratio, you're not doing everything, and you're still doing what you're doing, imagine what you can do. Because I see that as opportunity. Does that make sense? Like, if you've reached capacity and you're doing everything, like, you got to change areas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you got to, like, how do you go from 250, you want to get to 500 if you're doing everything? So that's where I see opportunity. So I never, ever, ever, ever say to someone, "Oh, you should have been doing it," or I am offended that you haven't done it. I still see so much opportunity. So please don't. I rather know that you haven't done it, because I have said this to agents. I've done all the letterbox drops. I've been doing it twice a week. I've been personally doing it. I've been doing the anniversary cards. I've been doing the cold calls. I've been following up. I've been giving great service. I've been doing this, this, and this, and I'm not getting the results. And you know what my response is? I think you may need to look at changing careers. Because if you're doing everything perfectly and you're not getting the results, you may have to change careers. I don't know what it is, right? Because if you can't improve something, if you're saying you're doing everything, you might as well change careers, because it's not going to change. Keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It's not going to work. Does that make sense? I'm not being, flippant about it. I'm actually being truthful. So be aware, knowing it's going back to what I said. The biggest thing I think with real estate agents, because most agents will not hear anything different or anything particularly new when they come to a training session. We all know what we know in the first 1, 2, 3 sessions of going to a training session, right? We all know, but it's actually bridging the gap between knowing and doing and the implementation of those activities, okay? So Lincoln, I'd love to hear your hustle playbook experience.
I think, I mean, for me, prior to starting with you guys, I wasn't tracking my numbers. So for me, just simply tracking the numbers and your appraisals each month has probably helped me. It says right up the top there, staying on track. Like if you have a month of you've done 10 or 9 appraisals, you just simply look at it and go, okay, well, I know what I need to change for next month. I know what I need to focus on. I need to increase my database calls, talking to more people, and just start booking in appointments and getting on the phone as soon as you start increasing that activity. So it's probably pretty simple for me, is just keeping on track each month, where previously I never was. I just sort of go through the flow and not really track whether you're having a good prospecting month or a bad prospecting month, which then by the time you realize it's all too late and you've probably lost a quarter or 6 months. But keeping me on track helped me probably last year have a personal best career in GCI just by having the booklet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's gold, Lincoln. And that's what, I mean, I'll get goosebumps hearing that, because it's not rocket science and it's not some whiz-bang technology. It's just getting that discipline of completing it and actually using it. Thank you for sharing, and great news story. So another PB this year.
Trying to catch up this year, I suppose. Baby's
yeah,
a little
course.
bit
That's
distracting,
right.
but yeah, no, we're going to finish strong. So
awesome. David, over to you.
Yeah, I was just going to say I was the same. I think I told you last year, I just started using the Hustle Playbook religiously last year. The big thing you notice is the further you go back in the book, the more you're going to find that people are listing their properties. What I mean by that is, okay, here's my book. You can see I do yellow for listings. Okay, there's a lot of clear spaces, but if I go back to the earlier pages, what you're going to see is a lot of yellow. So the big thing is that that's your prospecting tool. And if you want to talk to people that you already know, just keep in touch with all of these people. If they haven't been highlighted as someone that's listed with a different agency and they haven't been listed yellow, well, they're still at some stage you're going to bring their property to the market. We discussed this morning at the sales meeting that people used to sell the property every 7 years. It's probably back to about every 2 or 3 years now. So it's really, that timeline has really squeezed and become a lot less. So if you want some, prospecting tools, go back through this book, go back through last year's book, and you're going to find your warmest sources.
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly what happens. And it gives you visibility. And I remember speaking to an agent who just joined us, and they documented their recent appraisals from their prior organization. And by just doing that exercise, he recalled he had to call someone. He did it while he was filling out the book, called it, and listed the property. So it is those little sliding door moments. And 24 properties, 24 extra, no matter where your real estate career is right now, 24 properties will change your life. So if you're not selling any properties, 24 in your first year will change your life. If you're selling 24 and that goes to 48, will change your life. If you're doing 50 sales right now and you're able to increase it by 2 sales a month, 74 will change your life. It's significant. And sometimes we look at the number 24, it's not that many people. It really isn't. You can put them all in this room, 24 people. So think of it logically. So again, looking at that. Now, whilst we're doing, anyone else want to share
Great comment.
the Hustle Playbook?
Yeah, I'd like to comment on something I experienced this year with the numbers. So you know how we talk about obviously to increase numbers, increase appraisals. I've never recalled discussing the law of diminishing returns. I don't know if this is relevant to this, but I think I've experienced that this year with my appraisals. So according to my targets, I needed to do 220 appraisals for the year, which if you take a 10 month year, obviously it's about 22 appraisals a month.
Yeah.
So I noticed that the first around between March and May, June, my number of appraisals increased. So I was doing 26, 27, 26 a month. So we were putting a lot of effort into more appraisals, more appraisals. And then what David just said is we're probably letting them fall through our fingers, the ones that we had done 3-4 months ago, because we fell into the trap of focusing on the next 25 and the next 25 and the next 25, and you forget the 25 you did 3 months ago. So notice that when we increased our appraisals per month, that my listing success ratio dropped from 82% to 74%. So we're doing more appraisals, but losing more.
Yes.
So that's an interesting adjustment that now I've made this month and last month, where I've been quite selective when I guess the phone rings, or the ones that I prospect, where there's opportunities coming in and they're not really the kind of property that I would like to work on. I would either pass them on to the team, just to sort of keep the calendar free for me to go back and keep the love alive with the ones that I connected with really well with 3 months ago. So we don't lose those.
And Paul, you just shared something that Joel Hood shared when he was operating here in Melbourne, right? He actually at one of our PBs, he actually mentioned the law of diminishing returns, and he put it in a way that they actually exceeded capacity, and he threw some bodies into it to help. And he goes, it actually still didn't work. We weren't providing the level of service that we wanted to our clients. We just got too busy. So when you talk to Joel Hood, his business is structured in a way he knows how many people he needs, he knows the volume he needs to do, and he's got his measurement. It's not always more, because as you just mentioned, it goes up, and then you can go more, but then it starts the law of diminishing returns. You're actually making less profit. So sometimes a vanity metric of I want to sell more property, can be detrimental, as opposed to actually looking at your process and making sure that it becomes automated. So when we talk about simplicity, consistency, and repetition, that automation and making sure that you're outsourcing as much of that activity as possible, that's how you build a sustainable business. So really important fact. And again, really important to see at 82%, you've dropped to 70. It's still good, Paul, because top agents are at 70% and above, right? You don't want it to drop under 70%. So of 10 vendors coming to market, you want to be sitting at the 7. If it's not, you need to be looking at your listing and your follow-up presentation. So really important fact. And thank you so much too for sharing, David, especially the history, because if you haven't done it, you won't know it. And again, when you see so many highlighted properties that are listed, it motivates you. Shit, I've always got to be going back and having that client engagement strategy. Okay. So this is a big thing that's happening right now with a lot of off-market sales. Okay, who's seeing an increase of off-market sales in their marketplace? Okay, that's not going to change anytime soon. So we need to be ahead of the game. We were talking about it with Arthur in the car yesterday. We're on a road trip to check out the venue for Black Salt, and we're just talking about what's happening in the marketplace, and just sharing some stories of agents being beaten to listings because the other agent is promoting off-market opportunities, right? So it's really important to be ahead of the game. So quality over quantity. So whilst we can get automated, who gets automated SMSs from different companies? We all get automated SMSs. And do you know instantly it's an automated SMS? It's a bulk mass SMS. We know instantly. Do you give it much credit? Do you give that SMS? No, we don't. Okay. So that's the same behavior sellers will have if we just bulk SMS and not personalize the SMSs, right? So I'm a really big one on quality over quantity, and make sure that you target. So what Paul just said ties into this. Really focus on what messages you're sending to your people and get intimate with your people, because sellers, we need to know their motivation, we need to know their destination, we need to know their timing. You know those three things, you can help them and obviously tailor your messages to those things. Motivation, why they want to sell. Destination, where they're going to. And if they sell, how do they want to sell? Discreet. Do they want to sell, with a full-blown campaign? What is it? And timing. What's their timing, right? But we know timing is the big variable. We can influence. I mean, we've all been there where we've been out there for listing presentations and the vendors say, yeah, we're not going to sell until middle of next year, blah, blah, blah. And then 3 weeks later, we're driving by and there's a great big for sale board in front of their property. So we've got to understand, and we shouldn't take it personally. They probably weren't lying. They probably weren't lying to you. I doubt it very much that people would just outright lie. If they had any intention of coming to market in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or a month and change their plans, but just everyone changes their mind, right? And they don't need to justify it to us, okay, either. So don't take it personally, just be ahead of the game. So really use the phone enormously. Now, sometimes the cut through, people don't want to get harassed, and you're not going to get the message correctly. So we know there's been a big shift on SMS. I know I'm loving SMS. My communication with a lot of people is through SMS. So we've been talking about it's the year of the SMS for a decade now. But we need to personalize the message, right? And we need some key aspects in the message. So seller change of timing, right? So we want to bring forward sellers, yeah? People in that hustle playbook that appraised 6, 7, 8 months ago who said not really thinking of selling, right? And of course, the more detail you have. So for example, in this example, hi John, I know last time we spoke, you weren't ready to come to market before Christmas or whenever it was. Just checking in, buy activity is peaking. I'm working with a few qualified buyers right now. Or you could say, we just achieved a great result for a local neighbour and thought of introducing buyers that missed out on yours should your timing have changed. Love to chat when you're free. Okay? Something short like that. Or, hi, John, I know the last time we spoke, you weren't making a move anytime soon. If that at all has changed, I'd love to share some recent activity that makes it very favourable to push your plans forward. Chat soon. Right? So that's a summary of that. Do you know what I mean? If you don't know too much of their timing. Seller positioning the opportunity. Hi, Sarah. I know timing wasn't quite right when we last spoke, but with buyer inquiry up 20%, if you know what your stats are with buyer inquiry being up 20, 30, 40%, use that. And listing still tight, this could be the window to achieve a great result. Would you like to chat about bringing plans forward, right? Hi, Peter. Last time we spoke, you were thinking early to mid-year of 2026. I'd love to share a quick case study of a recent sale where timing made all the difference and that seller brought their move forward. Would you like me to send it through, right? So stimulate but you've got to put some thought behind it. So if you just had a recent sale, you go, okay, well, this one might influence X, Y, Z of my appraisal. And of course, having the hustle playbook is so much easier to be able to tailor SMSs than going through your database. Because it's really hard to get clarity in the database. That's just my opinion, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, of course, replying to a no, not quite ready, because most of them are going to reply like that, aren't they? Would you agree? Most of them are going to reply, thank you, thanks for checking in, not at this point in time. Would you agree? Everyone agree? They don't say, do they say anything else? If they don't say yes, what do they normally say? Thank you, but no thank you. Yeah, would that be? Yeah. Okay, very much appreciate the reply and totally understand should circumstances change, or if you know of anyone else, thinking of making a move, would love if you could pass on our details. Thank you, and I'll keep you informed. And the next step, and reconnect early next year. Tell them you're going to reconnect, right? Okay, so who's using a strategy like this right now? And if you have, tell us if it's working, if it's not working, or are you using something totally different that's working?
And I would even drop in a line to say that very much appreciate the reply and totally understand.
Yeah.
But then maybe add a little thing in there saying, I would still love to service the buyers I have. So if you know of anyone
Yeah.
else.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I mean, we can go into, but because so this is the thing, there is no perfect script that you can use year on year on year. It has to be personalized. So if I'm working with John and Mary and it's a hot buyer, I would be saying John and Mary is my hot buyer who missed out on number 1 Smith Street just down the road that we sold for a record for $1,070,000. Do you know what I mean? You need to get granular, right? You need to get a little bit granular because we're trying to make connections. Remember what I said, 24 people, no matter where your real estate career is right now, 24 people will make a huge impact. 24 extra sellers a year in the next 12 months will make a huge impact to your business. And not only from a bottom line, from other inbound inquiry. So everyone's good with that? Now, what happens next after you make these SMSs? What should happen next? You've SMSed them, they've replied, they've said no, not quite ready. If they've said yes, you're going to go to the appraisal, yes? So we know that process. So that's all good. If they say no, which the majority will probably say no, what do you do next? I love it, Steve. Love it. I just so are you using them, Steve, consistently? Yeah. Can you any feedback? Now, no feedback doesn't mean that they're not working or making an impact, right? But has it made an impact, Steve?
Yes, I haven't been using them as consistently as I should and I would like, though.
Yeah. But the few times that you've done it, you can see it's got a little bit of an impact.
Yeah. And we're with you're talking about anniversaries there before. I was with a seller the other day in an appraisal, and she reminded me of the Christmas card, the anniversary card and the scratchy that I sent like a couple of years ago. So all just reinforces.
Yeah.
But you're busy and it falls off sometimes. So
yeah, and that's so where from a business perspective then, right, to set up for a strong finish, what I really would love to everyone to get out your 28-day assistant planner, start writing these down. See, review, reset, relaunch is so important. Say, this is something I promised myself I would do at the beginning of the year. I've done it a couple of times and it really works. How can I get it just automatic, like driving a car, that it just happens? And then you start putting the pieces together, okay? So really focus on, you know what to do, but how do we make it automatic? And sometimes giving it to someone else to do is okay. So someone said to me about the anniversary calls. He goes, Manos, I just don't have time to do the anniversary calls. I said, okay. Is there anyone else that you can find that can do the anniversary calls for you? And the agent turned around and goes, no, I should do them. I said, but you're not doing them. Aren't they better off getting a call from someone? And it goes like this. Hi, it's Manos from XYZ agency calling on behalf of Steve. Just reaching out. We noticed it's your 2-year anniversary for your property this month, being September. We hope you're enjoying it as much as you did when you first bought it 2 years ago. Steve would love me to come out to give you an updated opinion on price. The market's on the move. We've had some really recent sales. That's it. Leave a message. Obviously, if you're communicating with them and you actually get through on the phone, that's different. I would have that script written somewhere so anyone could actually just say it verbatim, right? And it's the same message to the next person, right? You don't need, great talent to just say that. And if they ask that person, oh, so what's the market? How's the market going? What's been happening? Well, of course, just refer it to the lead agent. You're better off getting someone to actually do the activity and know it gets done. Couple of hours a week, first couple of weeks of the month. It's not going to be thousands of people, guys. We're talking 10, 20, 30, 40 calls. And if we can leave messages and then follow up with what? The anniversary card, dollar scratchy, as Steve says, it's memorable. That's how you compound your business. Okay. Anyone else like to share about the Just a Note to Say cards? Okay, cool. All right. Who's sending 50 cards a week? Who's sending 25 a week? Right, we've got one person there. I mean, obviously we've got a few people with no camera, so I can't really tell. So look, my suggestion would be get to the 25 number on a weekly basis. Get to 25 Just a Note to Say cards. 25 quality connections, which to me is 5 quality connections a day, is going to change your career. So I'm not talking about 100. I'm just 25, because if you're not doing it now and you're getting the results, imagine when you do. And your team does, if you've obviously got a team around you. Okay. The drops diary. Who's been keeping a drops diary? Great. What are you seeing in the marketplace, George?
There's a lot of people doing drops, Manos. Because I get my dropper who lives in my patch to collect all the competitors' drops as well. So I keep 2 diaries. So it's very interesting. And usually the ones that have got market share are the ones that are doing more drops.
Yep. So and I get that a lot. Everyone's doing drops. Everyone's doing drops. And you won't know who's doing drops unless you actually collate the drops diary, right? So I think it's a very important one. So if your market is not being saturated by drops, there's a really good reason to be saturating your market with drops. If your market is being saturated by drops, that's even a better reason to be saturating on drops. Would McDonald's stop advertising? Has McDonald's stopped advertising because Hungry Jack's advertised their burgers? If they see Hungry Jack's increase their advertising spend, what does McDonald's do? They increase their advertising spend, okay? Because it's all about attention. So we can't, it's not right or wrong, it's just maths, it's just promoting yourself. Again, to finish the year strong, this is where a lot of people increase their drops right now in preparation for that 50% of the market that we're going to get. So if you haven't been doing it, really ramp it up, especially right now, right? Just oversaturate. You will get a great return on investment, right? A lot of people have stopped doing it over winter for whatever reason, but do those drops. And David, I know you were, I'm not sure if David's left as yet, but David started the mass drops in his core area, which made a significant difference. And, you know, he's #1 agent right now in Merimbula, and he's holding 30% market share. So again, work on this and just do your yearly, and of course, work on your yearly prospecting. So what I put that there now, right? Because I interviewed an agent just this or late last week, and I asked the agent, I said, what prospecting have you done? And this agent's writing $500,000, right? $500,000 in GCI, average commission just under 20 grand. So it's, you know, a good 25 to 30 sales to do the $500,000 in GCI. I'm not part of our team. So I asked, I said, what prospecting have you done in the last 12 months? And she said 0. Not one letterbox drop, not anything. It's just been her phone calls and communicating with everyone, right? So I understand that you can get away with not doing prospecting, but what I want everyone to do is to complete their prospecting calendar and reverse engineer it. Because most people will probably find they're doing very little, right, in consistent prospecting. And that's okay, because as I said, this agent wrote $500,000, and lots of agents don't do any prospecting and they're writing good money, right? But it will be evident then if you reverse engineer your prospecting and see what you have or haven't done, right? To obviously look at what you need to do for the balance of the year, and obviously to 2x your business. Does that make sense? I think I was going around in circles a little bit there, but yeah, just measure what you have done. Reverse engineer is huge. Okay. So omnipresence beats one-off marketing, increase OFI. So what everyone should be doing over the next 30, 60, 90 days, right? We need to absolutely increase OFI frequency, right? So this is what the best are doing, right? You need to increase OFI frequency. Midweek, Saturday, Sunday, first week, right? May even have to do it on a Sunday in the first week. So this is a big one that a lot of agents are taking advantage of. Most agents right now are thinking, oh, it's too busy. I'm going to have to work too hard, blah, blah, blah. Properties are selling too quickly. If they're selling too quickly, even more of a reason that you should be doing 2 to 3 opens per property if you want to capitalize and really 2x, 3x your business. Remember what I said, 30, 60, 90 days, what you do right now will impact your next 12 months. What do you don't do? Okay, so again, part of the Magic 25, all this campaign, if you haven't studied this in detail, like looked at this photo, like as I said, I want to hang this in my office somewhere. I've got to get the team, and big shout out to Steph, who's taking some video right next to me. I said, there's my instructions. I want to get this printed off and put it on my wall somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Because I think we should look at this on a daily basis, because this is everything. And I'm pretty sure I haven't missed anything here that leverages. You know how I was saying about that agent that doesn't do any prospecting, but has written 500,000? They are leveraging, they're not doing any Magic 25s, they're leveraging their listings, because that's prospecting. You know, the more listings you have, the more visibility you have in the marketplace. That's marketing in itself. So imagine if you did the other ones, right? And whilst there's a typo there, leverage competitors' boards. Daniel Di Battista said he is, which is fantastic. Guarantee you 40% of vendors will not use an agent that they recently had a successful sale in a particular neighborhood. So the next 30, 60, 90 days, what are you going to do? Put that in place. Hire casuals to get this volume done. Start talking to your, and now finding people is a challenge. A lot of people are finding it challenging finding the right people and motivated people and all that when it comes to it. But that just means we've got to be asking more. We need to have it on our radar to be looking at individuals that will suit certain tasks in our business and hunting them down, right? You know, going to the local schools, going to the careers office and saying, hey, I need this sort of person, right? I need this sort of person who can help me, right? And maybe get their license, help you on OFIs, the whole lot. So guys, the omnipresence is so important, leveraging off your for sale board. Okay, next, socials and videos, and only a couple more slides to go. Socials and video. I want everyone to start following Michael McClure at EV Real Estate, right? He made a commitment to change his GCI for the next 12 months. He always talked about video. He is doing an amazing, so we've got a really good case study. You know how the simplicity of video as an agent in the marketplace, if you haven't done it, you need to do it over the next 30, 60, 90 days. It's spring. People are in real estate mode. You're going to get more impact doing it and leveraging it. So please follow Michael. Have a look at his video wraps, R&D, rip off and duplicate, because I can guarantee you're going to see some big numbers from. I predict. I won't guarantee. I predict that Michael will see a great impact because of this. And Michael's been in our office for what, 14, 15 years. So it's not like he's a new agent. He's an established agent who's just started video. And that's why the importance of this. Let's see if there's going to be a difference. Okay. How memorable is your voicemail? I was listening to someone's voicemail, right? If you're going to change it, right? If you're going to change it, now's the time to change it, right? And we're coming up to spring. Get into the habit of changing your voicemail a couple of times a week. Really maybe it's just on a Saturday. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you might have a standard voicemail Monday to Friday, but Saturday morning you change your voicemail. Hey, excited, it's Super Saturday, it's showtime, it's Saturday, we've got great opens. Make it memorable. I listened to someone's, I rang an agent, not part of our group, thank God, And I was just horrified. Like, I was just thinking, like, it was memorable for the wrong reasons, right? Just sort of thinking, like, yeah, it's please, like, make some effort into your voicemail. And also, caveat there are some glitches with, I don't know if you guys are having any glitches with your telcos, but voicemail at the moment is a bit hit and miss, and whether it's coming through or not. So be mindful of that too, okay?
Manos.
Yes, please, Mata.
I'm with Vodafone and I have that issue off and on. And I just went in there one day and they do like a whole series of codes and reset it. So it's worth going in there when that starts happening because then it freshens up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to do that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So is it the provider or is it the phone? Well, it has to be the
I think
provider,
it's the
wouldn't it?
provider.
Yeah. Okay. All right, but great. Look, again, just check your voicemails and all that. Who changes? Look, the best agent that I know that does it is Claudio Cuomo for us C+M Residential every single day. And two things that happen with the voicemail: it clarifies your day, takes a bit of guilt. Like if you get phone calls early in the morning and you're busy and you left a voicemail and say, "Look, I really want to connect with you, but I'm leaving. I'm not returning calls until after 4 o'clock. I promise to get back to you. If it's anything urgent, contact my team or SMS me, and I'll obviously fit you in between." All right. So something really personable. All right. It is the little things, right? Falling for the loyalty trap. Please, a lot of people over spring, I find they do lose listings to competitors. They do get promised listings that people would say that they're going to get, and it happens always in this period. And this is the whole purpose of today's session of how do you set up for a strong finish for the year. It's because we get a little bit complacent because, we don't want to feel a bit too pushy. They told us not going to come onto the market this year, but just use some of these strategies to get in front of them again, right? Don't fall for the loyalty trap, right? Property owners are not necessarily your lifelong friends or clients, so you need to be ahead of the game, right? Recency trumps loyalty most days of the week, right? So leverage, obviously, everything that you do in the marketplace, leverage it, right? Don't become complacent over the next 30, 60, 90 days. Anyone can do anything for 30 days. Anyone can do anything for 60 days. Anyone can do anything for 90 days, right? And that will form a really good habit to finish the year strong. Lastly, I'm just going to go through these last few slides. Steph created these for the Black Salt Bulletproof Accelerate and Dominate. And if you haven't seen them on our social page, please do. I read these and I went, this is just brilliant. And obviously, Steph summarizes a lot of the work that we do and what we obviously produce. And it's absolutely brilliant. And come around here and say hi to the guys and say, hi guys. Steph does all the magic for Black Salt and makes it all look absolutely gorgeous. So thank you, Steph. Find freedom in routine. Real estate promises freedom, but the agents who actually achieve it are not winging it. They build a structure that protects their time, drives their results, and creates flexibility. Discipline is what sets you free, right? Discipline is not a punishment for what you should or shouldn't do. It's getting you freedom, right? We need to bulletproof our schedule, right? We've got to lock in our non-negotiables, prospecting blocks, negotiation windows, vendor follow-ups. If it's critical for growth, it belongs in your calendar. I shared with a couple of the team members, those that do sales meetings, I shared a document that I put together based on our experience of what makes a great sales meeting. Just email me and I'll send you that document. We will be putting it into our workbooks for Black Salt, but if anyone wants it for ahead of time, because when you actually block in the standards, it's going to get done. It all starts with a sales meeting for those people who have a team. Paul, you would love it, right? Remove the guesswork and create a structure that fuels performance. So important. Your intention, accelerate your intention. Own your mornings. Use your best hours for high value activities like creating deals, generating leads, and moving the needle. Split your day with purpose. Okay, leave your afternoons for the in-person meetings. Really be structured like that. Organized chaos, I call it. And of course, dominate with consistency. When your week has rhythm, I think that's a magic word there that Steph put in there. When your week has rhythm, your results compound. Routine removes mental load, takes the guilt off your shoulders. Like, think about it. And it replaces it with flow. You stop overthinking and start executing. That is how momentum is built, right? So the big takeaways, we don't need more time. We need a better structure. Strong routine creates freedom, balance, and real results. Lock in what matters, stick to the plan, and the more disciplined your day, the more powerful your business outcomes. So again, team, we lasted it to the hour, probably a little bit over what I thought. If you haven't registered, please do so. 2nd and 3rd of December. Super excited. Went to the venue yesterday, and it was absolutely just amazing. And super excited. That's at the Crown Promenade, and then over to the garden room, and it's amazing. So we're pretty impressive, wasn't it, Arthur?
It was.
It was really good. And of course, implementation day 2 is actually going through the workbooks. We're super excited. There's some great speakers, some AI speakers, and the program is out, so you'll be able to find that. Is it on the website as yet? The download the program for the 2 days. Great. So you can download the program from the Black Salt website. So please do so. Register your tickets. Any final questions, guys? Anything anyone would like to share? All good? Done. Silence always at the end, isn't it? Okay. Again, I thank you dearly for the time. I value everyone's time more than anything. And I don't take it for granted, and I know how precious everyone's time is. I'm hoping that you got some great takeaways today. Some needle moving strategies, and of course, stuff that you should be doing, and more importantly, the inspiration to actually get it done now, and the motivation and put it into place. And I'd love for everyone to give me some feedback as well when they implement these things. It'd be great to share. So hey, did that? I use that SMS, right? Did everyone take the SMS slide? And this will be uploaded anyway. To be able to use, but you should be able to create your own anyway from that guideline. But it'd be great to see some feedback with people implementing it to share. All right, done. Any last words, Arthur?
No, I'm all good, buddy. Great session. I love what you said. You got to get disciplined. You got to get consistent. That's where the magic will happen. And
keep it simple. Keep it simple. We know what to do. Just keep that simplicity. And if anyone needs any help whatsoever, please reach out anytime. All right. Be good. Thanks for joining us, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day. See lots of yous at Sync Up tomorrow. Looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. All right. Be good.
Take care. Bye.
Take care.